Okay, so welcome, lovely ladies, here for another exploration into consciousness with the Earth Nouveau Hub. And today we're actually going to talk about the layers of, that's Tom, wanting. The layers of wanting. Sounds good, doesn't it? I read that somewhere. Layers of wanting. Oh, I like that, So in the last, hi Tom, you're the man, the only man here so far. Welcome.
Hello.
Thank you for holding up the masculine, vibes, energies here. So last time, we spoke a little bit at the end, we spoke a little bit about passionate desire, coming from a place of suffering and easing the suffering and using relationships as a tool, basically, and that, of course, never stops in the way, and then there comes that time where we go from this place of passionate desire to desire, right? Now I want to illustrate the difference because I thought it would be quite nice to look at the cross here. I found a nice little cross here. So look at the cross here, and let's see if we can play with that a little bit. I just want to set the context, and then we go into, what it is that you desire and all that sort of stuff. But I was wondering if we could look at it from that perspective. So let's look at karma. And we're going to take the vertical one here as karma, because that's, in this particular case, it's the longer, well, it's usually the longer one on the cross. So this is the path when we come in, the first couple of years, depending on our journeys, is usually the karmic path that we're walking, right? Karmic resolution path. And very often we don't even have a lot of time to ask ourselves the question, what is it that we desire? What is it that we want, right? Because we are so bogged down with karmic resolution. And I often say it's almost like, yeah, there is choice, because, we are in a free will universe, and no matter if you're on a karmic or on a dharmic path, but the choice seems to be limited because of the limited awareness that we have at that stage, right? And then we get to a stage where most of all have arrived, or at least we know what it feels like, what it looks like at times. This is when we come into the middle here, yeah, where we're crossing to the horizontal here, which I would like to call the dharmic path, yeah. And of course, none of those paths is there's no end to it. It's all going into infinity on every side. So this part is where, in the middle there, it's between the inhalation and the exhalation. It's that place of stillness when we meditate and we hold the breath. We just contain the breath for a moment. We go into that place of stillness where the resting pose, where everything becomes available, but we haven't chosen it yet. In that space, and be it not a dharmic or the order or the karmic path, this is the place we always need to go back to. Always go back, whichever path you're on. This is the place where we go in meditation, in visualization, in reflection, in prayer, when we pray. Because prayer, I would like to look at prayer just as let's call it for this purpose, meditation. Prayer is just like a meditation where we're going into that universal space of wholeness, oneness, completeness. So this space is always available. Now, once we're on this dharmic path, we can then start venturing out. And as we are on a level of higher awareness, we're starting to have more possibilities available to us. And we're becoming more aware of those possibilities. So stuff doesn't just happen anymore once we're on that dharmic path. It actually gets to a stage where we have to start choosing it. Yeah. And it's not, to be honest, from my personal experience, it's not easier. For me, it has not been easier to be on a dharmic path rather than the karmic path, where it's like choice between A, B, choice between A, B, yes, 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 challenge, yes, yes, yes. All of a sudden you stay in this place here in the stillness and like, what the fuck, what now? Oh, wow, now I have to choose. But in order to choose, I sort of need to know what I want, right? I sort of need to know what I desire. And yes, most of us, we have, we want to reach our potential. We want to be of service. And that's all nice, but it's not enough. When you're in that space, in that space for a longer time and not just running back onto the karmic path all the time, it's not enough anymore just to meditate. It's not enough anymore just to rest and to heal, because at some stage you've done so much work that the next level is coming to invite you to walk that a dharmic path. And what does walking the dharmic path mean? It means nothing else than purposefully, joyfully living your purpose, joyfully living your purpose, right? On the dharmic path. Now, and this is what we're gonna, sort of look at. And of course, none of that takes away that we're going back and forth, up and down, and all of that. And this is always the space where we come back into the heart space, the meditation, the prayer, the reflection, and all of that. So this is the context I was thinking we could look at. And then the layers of wanting. First of all, wanting comes from a place of lack. Okay. So anyone who is looking at universal laws of attraction, we always say, don't use the word want in itself, because it's actually, if you look at the dictionary, very old dictionaries, it comes it has been defined as lack. What am I lacking? So as you say, I want, you're just reinforcing, I lack. Okay. Again, that's in the beginning of the journey, but it's a nice one to look at, really, because I want to look at it from both sides. I want to say, what is it that you desire? So let's just agree on using desire. For that, there's other words we can use, of course, but what are your desires? What are your hopes? What are your dreams? What are your what else? I've written a couple down. Where did I write it? Anyway, you know what I mean, and then, of course, what are you lacking, so that we can, sometimes it's there's one thing when we say I want something or I desire something, it's a forward thinking that sometimes is difficult for people that are very much away from. Some people think in away from, not towards. Some are towards people and some are away from people. So actually, let's look at that. That's still from my days in NLP. Let's look at that. What kind of person are you guys? Are you a towards person, or are you more of an away from person? Hi, Lana. Hi, Caro. Hi, everyone. Yeah. Sarah.
Can you be both? Because I feel it's situational. I feel like I also, I go so hard. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Let's go, 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 go. And then it's like, oh shit, no, or I can be reactionary, or if I get, that vulnerability, then I can bolt. So I have this tendency to push pull. And I think it is, if I start from that center 0 point, that really grounded place, then I'm definitely more of a going towards. But if I'm a little bit off center, then I feel that I'm running away, going away.
Yeah. And yes, absolutely. Of course, at this level of awareness, we can be both already, because it's just a choice. And actually, we can look at situations that no longer work for us, that, to say, okay, this is an away from. What is required here for me to get away from that? Very much so. There is a time in the journey where, depending on, it's that there's a saying, which wolf are you feeding, right? That kind of the one who is, how's the saying? How does the saying go? Which wolf are you feeding? You know what I mean? The one that is the one that is just negative, or the other one, the positive one, that kind of thing. I can't remember the exact wording of this thing now, but you know what I mean. And there's some people are very much, they're just away from, yeah? It's because everything that comes out of the mouth is just negative. They just come from a place of lack. So there's a limitation in their choices, in their awareness, consciousness, is still not entirely the white and black wolf. Okay, right. But yes, absolutely. What is required in this moment? Is it an away from or is it a towards? Anyone else who wants to something, whatever we've just discussed until now, what has any of that brought up for you? You got to help me out. We're only 6 people here. Otherwise, I'll be talking for an hour and a half. You don't want that.
What came up for me was how do I want to enjoy this experience of receiving? So what will be really joyful and juicy? What would be really delicious in getting to where I want to go?
Yeah, that is very much already a towards, perspective here. Now, the question is, and every time we have a desire for something, it's very good to go with the energy of it. We don't want to limit it. It's that old thing, the old goal setting was you have to focus on something that you want and you have to be extremely specific. It's got to be a red Porsche. If it is that's what you want. It's got to be, you have to know exactly the color, what it looks like, how much it is and all of that. That we don't do that kind of stuff anymore. Yeah. Because we know better. We know the energy, and then we allow whatever comes towards us, whatever we start attracting, we can look at, is that energy matching that energy that we want to create? So every time you have a focus on something, I would like to have that kind of job, the best thing to do is you just say, and what else is possible? Right? And what can come in that is even better than that? And that's not being greedy. No, that's just being open to saying, look, I'm flexible here. I know what I want. I know what I desire. And show me, universe, show me the energy that matches that desire that I might not have even thought about. Because remind yourself, the thoughts that we have are very much referring back to old experiences. Now, very often what that does, it takes us back onto the horizontal here, no, the vertical here, because that's where we come from, challenge and all of that. Now, this is a completely different path. Yeah, this is now, like Sarah said in the beginning, it takes us into the beyond the edge of unknowingness. It takes us beyond the edge, totally into the impermanence, into the uncertainty of what is actually happening. So, what is it that you desire? Who wants to play?
I would like to say something about it. For me, desire is the ignition. And for me, what I desire now, I desire abundance. Abundance of love, abundance, all in general, And that is my desire. And always I think desire is, because I've been thinking a lot about that impulse, Because sometimes desire can be, for me, desire comes with passion, but passion also can be very overwhelming. Also, all the time I try to restructure it, how in reality are my feelings. And what I desire now most is just abundance, all type of abundance. And also saying this, when I say abundance, can happen is abundance of uncomfortable situations. But at the moment, I'm playing with my uncomfortable situations at all the time. And when I'm realizing and find out, because I have desire, I have the ignition of it, that once I overcome that, the uncomfortable becomes so great, because it's always been in my mind. It's a mental battle in me who creates these uncomfortable situations. Okay, now, because I have the desire, which is for me the ignition, I desire just abundance. And that is what I wanted to say.
Okay, thank you very much, Petruska. Now let me ask you a question here, because abundance is very much like living a life, you know, to my fullest potential, like living in service to a certain. No, that's not. But to my fullest potential, it's a bit high chunked. Okay.
Mhm.
So what we're trying to do today, we're going to look at the layers. So you're coming in with a hugely high chunked, desire already. So it's a bit like, think about it. I've often, when I do relationship, work with people, is I want my perfect husband. Okay, nice, we all do. And what do you want? What do you desire this husband to be like, right? And what do you desire this husband to not be? So sometimes, if we come in with these high chunks, you got to actually chunk it down and say, okay, cool. What does that actually look like? What does that mean? And write it down. So if you're happy with that, I'd like to work with you on this one. What does abundance look like for you?
Abundance looks for me like a garden full of flowers.
Okay. Have you got
Because
one?
The abundance I'm looking for is abundance of motion, of meeting people, ongoing places, of action and motion. Not dualistic. I accept whatever comes.
Action, and motion. Okay, what else? I'm gonna pick your brain here, yeah?
Yeah. I love it.
Admitting Shoba. And Lana, the question is, what do you desire? Okay. So a garden with flowers. What else?
Full of flowers.
Full of flowers. What else do you desire?
I cannot tell you I desire that. I desire now in my life, because my life is been very a stop of sequence of motion. I want now my life to be full of motion.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Shanati. Now listen here. Karmic path, dharmic path.
Mm-hmm.
Karmic path shit happens all the time. You choose between A and B, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dharmic path, you have many more choices. So it's like, what choices do you have on the dharmic path? So we need to start looking at the dharmic. What are the choices available for you? And in order to be able to choose them, we have to somehow look into get a bit more detailed. Yeah.
Okay. For example, now my full passion is craniosacral.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It fulfills me in ways. Before, I always been an artist.
Mm-hmm.
And fulfill me a lot, because it was a passion on it. I love it, art. I love everything involved. Mm-hmm. But now I found for motions of life, now I'm in a new path, and I found craniosacral therapy. Okay. Mm-hmm. And it motivates me, it fulfills me inside. No, it's what I want to achieve, is how fulfilled I feel. When I doing that work, is, I don't know how I tell you, it's like art. It fulfills me in all the ways. Mm-hmm. Spiritually, physically, human, everything in myself.
Mm-hmm.
and that is my passion. O sea, now I want to do everything about cráneo, you know? That is what I'm doing 24/7.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So a craniosacral, it takes quite a bit of time to learn it, isn't it? 3 years or so.
Yeah, I'm nearly graduate. I will graduate in December, you know.
Okay.
That within, and for the pandemic, it's been quite a long, nearly 3 years, but it's been so precious, you know.
Okay, well, that's fantastic. Now, as you're graduating from it, you're going to start obviously getting into business with it. Now you could actually start looking at what is it that I desire to create with the craniosacral. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
how many clients will you require on a day in order to give you that fulfillment?
Okay, that is the thing. At this present moment, I don't think about that. Okay, no. I know everybody in the course is thinking about it, but always I'm an artist all my life, and in art, I don't know. I don't do that kind of speculation. I'm on this path. I really believe in what I'm doing, and I have now a lot of dreams for what I'm going to become doing cráneo. Okay, because you're learning a lot about yourself. Yeah, I have dreams, and a beautiful dream I have about cráneo is in a future we like to live in the mountains in Slovenia, have a little van, have my table in the van, and going all around doing cráneo sessions to people, you know. Mm-hmm. That is my dream. Okay. And what you say about clients, I'm thinking when I'm ready, everything starts to happen. Okay. And that is what I call about the abundance, because now I'm in a space which I wasn't 2 years ago, which I really trust myself in the scene of abundance. Mm-hmm. Before, always I've been an artist, meaning I used to be to make money, professional jeweler and silversmithing. I do my metal work, I sell it, I make money. Okay. Now I cannot do that because I have a problem in my hands. But now I trust myself that I'm going to achieve this dream of mine. But I cannot speculate because at the moment, to tell you the truth, I live it day by day. Everybody is doing my payments, and I'm so happy I can do it. You know what I mean? That's it. Yes.
Thank you, because the topic today is layers of wanting, and you've just really pointed out really nicely. Yeah, this is you doing it now. This is your first layer. This feels you're enjoying it. Once you get to the next layer where you're going to make it into a business, then the wanting will change, and then you'll probably will have to add certain things, and you will have to probably, as you're no longer on the karmic path, but you're on the dharmic path, speculation alone is not going to really help you a lot. This dharmic path is actually the path where we have to start focusing and become a bit more specific in what we actually want to focus on. It's almost like it's not going to take that long to get it. Yeah, it's like instant manifestations are possible, but we need to know sort of what we want to manifest. Yeah. So, but that's perfectly. So thank you for that. So it's the layers of wanting, the layers of desire change as we move up, as we expand, and as we actually start acknowledging more and more choices. Because at the end of the day, Petruska, and for everyone else here, it's just a choice. When we're on the dharmic path, it really just becomes a choice. You can have 20 clients a day if that's what you're choosing. You can actually create that. Yeah, this is the dharmic path where you have, sorted out the major stuff, the major imbalances within yourself that you can just ask and it will be given. It's almost like I read this the other day. It's like you pray, you want to pray for it, you want to meditate for it. But the question is, I wrote this down. I can't even see what I wrote down. Yes. So, you put it out there, and then there is this element of becoming the answer to your own prayers. What is it that I can do today, to answer my own prayers? And this is a lovely way of getting up in the morning. It's like, okay, today, whatever, universe, myself, anything, what can we create today that is actually contributing to the desire that I have? Now, if you don't have a desire, you wake up and it's like, okay, what now?
This brings up for me the ability to receive, or willingness to receive. That when y'all are talking about joy and abundance, that kind of freaks me out. To me that just feels hard, or something like, and it's wacky when you really think about it. It's like, why wouldn't you want joy and abundance? What's the deal? But it's something I've always kind of resisted or been scared of, or felt like maybe there's an unworthiness. But when you are the energy, when you are the abundance, I think it kind of shifts that. And then when you soften into receiving, there's a lot more allowance. But I have to, it's a sticky point for me.
Yeah, absolutely. When you become that energy that you want to create, when you become it, then the universal law of attraction kicks in, and you will just pull it closer to you. But again, that requires us to sort of, look into what is it that I actually look for? What is it that I desire? What works for me? What kind of energy would I like? And even you don't have to say, I want 20 clients a day or something, but what kind of energy do I want with those clients? Do I want to give my full, this is what I want to do now, lots, or do I just want 5 a week or something? So just to get an idea like that. And I have seen this in my life many times. When I finished a modality, very much like what Sarah was saying, everything that I have learned that I am offering out has helped me. I've done it for myself first, and then I monetized it. And as long as I had that desire to share it with other people against an exchange, people just kept on coming. As soon as I stopped the desire and got sidetracked and looking something else that I wanted to do, they dried off. So what I'm saying is, on this path, this dharmic path, it's the choice that creates. It's on the other path the same thing, but the choices get so much bigger. Yeah. So many more choices. Because, on the karmic path, it's very often, I'm not saying this for any of us, but very often I have to make money. I have to be secure. I have to, create that materialistic stuff in order to feel comfortable. And that's absolutely and perfectly okay and normal. We've all been there. We all are there. But then once you have achieved that level, and sorted that out, then what is the next level? What is it that I desire now? What is the next layer after just making money? What is the next layer after, even feeling fulfilled by doing sessions, using that as an example now? Because in the beginning, coming from where I was coming from, from having very little acknowledgement from where I came from, doing sessions and seeing people get better was like, whoa, it was beautiful. Yeah, it was beautiful to know. For me, any healer knows that, wow, you contributing to somebody else being healthy, being happy, how does it get better than that? And then at some stage, I think that kind of thing always stays, but that real true, you seeking it out, because there is a need, there's still a neediness behind those healers. I need to help others in order to feel good. Once you get to the stage where you don't need that anymore, you will still enjoy it when people come and ask you for it, but you don't have to go out and seek it anymore. The next level of desire is then coming in. Lana, you got your hand up.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Hope everybody's doing good today. Martina, before we move to on to the question, what is it that you desire? I'd like to come back to a question about the dharmic path and the karmic path, if I could.
Yeah.
So, what I was thinking is that can you be on the dharmic path if you're still, or you still have karma to work out?
Absolutely. As I said earlier on, we go back and forth. Yeah.
Yeah.
We just at some stage get to a place where we probably feel a bit more at ease on the dharmic path, and we don't necessarily get thrown into reaction. Look at the karmic path as the reactive part, and look at the dharmic path as the active, more the action part where you actually have more choices, slightly less choices. But absolutely, I would say yes. What do you guys think? What do you think, Lana?
So what you what we need to do is to flip that symbol and create our dharmic path to be the length, which is the vertical, and the karmic path, which we're almost finished with, to be the horizontal.
Absolutely.
Yes. Would that make sense?
Absolutely. I did say early on, I think before you came on, there is no limitation to that. Yeah. So this goes into infinity on all sides. Yeah.
Yeah.
But to illustrate what we're saying, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. To look at it from that perspective. And, this is not supposed to be small here, like the left side is worse than the right. So there's not, that's a good one, actually. Right is not better than left, right? Left is not better, and there's no up and down and any of that. So just consider it. I just wanted to use the cross for the idea of that. That's quite important here, because we're always.
It's funny. I saw you with the cross when I came in, because back in March, I had an idea that came to me as well about the cross, and I was pondering on something, and I don't remember what it was, but I drew the cross in my notebook, and I was pondering why the cross, and I came to the conclusion that what I should be focusing on now is that I walk the wide and spherical, multidimensionally, infinitely. So it's no longer an up and down or sideways motion. It's a multidimensional, all-inclusive, wide and spherical. So we're no longer in the box anymore of walking our journey, or being on the journey. So you create like this huge circle around us, a cross, and you become that multidimensional being that we've been talking about lately.
So I like what you said. So consider this, that the same length or whatever, just know there's no end to any of that. And then consider yourself having the round shape, the circle around it. Okay. Now, I would not necessarily let go of the cross idea, but I would, because that is the journey in time and space, the linearity.
So right where your finger was just now, consider that's the spot where this present I am being is at. We're the center, we're the focus. And this morning I was thinking about the layers of how the Earth Mother has the Akashic records layered on top of each other, and how the oldest records are on the outside of the planet, right? You following me here?
Yeah, go ahead.
And the younger layers are at the center of the planet. So as time goes by, it's layered on top of each other. So the oldest becomes the harder outer crust, and the very center is the youngest layer, which would be our present I am self, creating our Akashic record while we're living in this I am present body.
Okay.
So that would be the core center of your I amness in this existence. And that would be the you of the now. No, I don't even know where I was going with this. I lost my train of thought.
No, you're taking it to an interesting place. Yes, yes. I just
Yeah.
want to take it, Lana, if I just may take it back to put it back into the context of what we're talking about. Yeah, but I like the way
Yeah,
you.
we'll come back to that. We'll come back to that.
Yeah,
I was just
yeah,
trying
yeah,
to get
yeah.
to a point here.
Yeah.
So that would layer out. We're creating our wide and spherical, correct?
Yeah.
So we're at the center point. The I am being is like that Akashic record layer, like how the earth layers her Akashic record of all beings that are living on the planet. From the so we're kind of hidden in the inside. Our desires, our soul beingness is in our inside. It's hidden away. So now what we have to do is bring that out and expand it out.
I like that.
And collect all of our soul shards and bring them in, and they would be the layers that would be on the outside, like how the Akashic record is layered, but the oldest is on the outside. And we now are creating a record. Like right now, all of us here are creating an Akashic record of the present I am moment. So this would be the youngest record of us.
Okay.
And we're at the center point of all of our beingness, our wholeness.
Okay.
So
Cool.
so where was I going with
Cool.
this? I'm not sure. It was just at the cross. You brought in the cross. And
Well, I think just the cross
creating the
inspired.
cross.
Yeah.
So, but anyway,
Yeah.
coming back
Yeah,
to
you
your
said so.
question, what is it that you desire?
Mhm.
Well, when I think about that, I think that I most of all desire peace within myself. Because if I don't have peace within myself, I can't enjoy anything around me. And when I go deep within myself and I find that peace, and I ask the universe to help me to find that peace within myself, then I can expand that peace outside of me. And as I expand the peace outside of me, then I can shift that out further and further into the whole world. And then from the world, we go into the solar system and then out into the universe.
Mm-hmm. And again, I just like with Petruska, I'd like to invite you to look into what that means for you, because we're all very high chunked here, to really break it down a little bit. What does that actually look like for you? That desire to have peace, that desire to have abundance, and how can you break that down a little bit? It's just an invitation to look into that.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing to feel that peace, because when you feel peace, you're at peace with no matter what's going on around you, whether it's war, contention, greed,
so let me ask you a
chaos,
question.
confusion.
Let me ask you a question. You just said a little bit of that, for the purpose of, and this is a good question anyone can ask themselves when it comes to the desire. So Lana's got a very big one. She's got peace already. So let's see if we can junk that around a little bit. So for what purpose, Lana, do you desire peace?
So that we can actually manifest the fifth world of peace.
And for what purpose?
so that the universe can have the resolution of karma and really be what the universe was meant to be, a universe of love,
Okay, and for what
where
purpose?
all can and enjoy the universe without harm to any sentient kind.
And for what purpose do we need a universe of love?
Because that's what this universe is about, love. Our purpose is to understand what love is, to enjoy what love is, to be that thing that is called love.
Mm-hmm. And that thing that is called love, what is that an example of?
It's almost just about anything that the universal being is, I feel. I mean, I could be wrong, but that's where I'm coming from.
Mm-hmm. And what is it, and what is that an example of? Give us an example if you have one for that.
Just having all of you here, being in the presence of all of you is being in the presence of the universal creator.
So let's just, what we're doing is we're taking you from this big peace thing and actually junking it down with those questions.
Yeah.
What is that an example of? Well, sharing on a Zoom, right?
Yes,
Peace.
that's an example of
It's an example of, but
what
now
the universe
that's
is.
a bit more tangible now. So we can actually
Mhm.
say, what am I desiring? Well, I'm desiring, yes, sharing on a Zoom with people who are like-minded. Okay, cool. Now we can start manifesting it slightly with more ease too. Because now all of a sudden, as soon as we give it a little bit more form, next time you go on Facebook, it's like, oh, there's another Zoom. Oh, nice. Let me go. That matches the energy. That is peace for me. Yeah. So going into the layers, what are you desire? Sometimes you can chunk it up, or you can even use the same questions to chunk it down a bit. Because now the synchronicities are coming in very fast and furious. You just need to say something. Yes, of course, it's all your gadgets listening to you as well. But sometimes that's good. You know what? Stuff's coming in. So sometimes.
Well, let me add something here, because if you don't have peace within yourself, why bother having or asking for the desire of for us to bring in the fifth world of peace? Because then we wouldn't know how to participate in the fifth world of peace if we don't find peace within ourselves or don't feel at peace.
That works for you, Lana, but if I ask somebody else, why would they want to bring in the fifth world of peace? Is because they don't have peace within themselves. They desire peace. You've already got it. You know what I mean? Everyone is different. If you ask me,
true.
bring the let's ask the question, Lana. Ask the question to the peeps here. Why would you guys desire?
But you can't go outside. You can't go outside to get the peace. The peace comes from within, the deep core, that center core that we're creating right now, the new layer of record.
Yes,
we got to go deep within ourselves and find that peace. But we draw that from requesting, in a sense, from the universal creator to help us to find that peace.
We can draw the desire from the outside. Yeah. We can draw the desire from the want because we're lacking it. Not everyone comes already from a place of peace. Lots of people who want to have the fifth world of peace is because they're lacking it at the moment. And we are lacking it. Otherwise, we wouldn't work towards. Yeah. So let me just go back to your thing, your round circle there earlier on. Yeah. So
the wide and spherical.
The spherical thing, yeah. So you could look at that. You could look at it from the cross being the entire cross being your I am, just a different way of looking at it, yeah.
Yeah.
And the circle being your celestial mediumship, which is all the different versions of yourself, the shards, parts, and avatars, Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is interacting within the circle, within that sea of consciousness, but also outside in the ocean of awareness, outside
Yeah.
the circle, outside of time and space. And then you could look at that. This is the space where, this is a choice space here, yeah? Where we have to go to in order to find that stillness, in order to find that place of rejection, reflection, that prayer. That's what we said earlier on. And then also another way of looking at the cross is very nicely, because what is actually another way of looking at that place of stillness is when we create the harmony between the male and the female parts within ourselves. Yeah. So the cross is another symbol you can look at for male-female harmony in that middle there. Yeah. So how much is our male? We more male dominated? Are we more female dominated? So this is that place of harmony where we can go back to. But yeah, Lana, I mean, fantastic. And this is why it's so interesting to discuss that, because some people already come from peace. Some people have no idea what peace is, and their desire is to feel peaceful for once. So what other desires do we have? What do you guys desire?
Oh, I'm talking and I was muted. Sorry. So we came from peace. The original us, to me, came from peace. And we're working our way back to that and become like a celestial medium of peace. And then we can populate the universe with this celestial medium, each one of us becoming a celestial medium for peace. And then we populate the universe in that manner. We create something brand new, like an expansion, something that the universe has not known before. And I could be totally wrong.
No, absolutely.
Because I live here in amnesia, so I don't know
Yeah.
beyond what I can understand at this point.
Well, exactly. That is the journey. Karmic, dharmic journey is the journey from separation back into wholeness. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. From, now.
So yeah, so we say so I come back to, we say I walk the wide and spherical, multidimensionally, infinitely from this point on.
That's the energy. That's right. And then we have to remind ourselves that, we still have a physical body, right?
Yeah.
And we still live in time and space, and we still live with people that are not exactly on the same level, and that we still need to make some money in order to live, and all of that. Now, those are maybe we call it little, but for some people, those things are not that little, right? And probably for us, even for us, it's not that little to maintain, all of those desires.
So let's put the question forward to everyone here on the,
That's right.
room.
Yes.
Who would desire to find peace within themselves, and why? Is the question. You got any thoughts, guys?
Carol.
I want to, yes, I want peace. I want peace, and to experience it. And I would love to get to a point where I can say, I have peace, and now what? But really, truly be able to say, now what? And more and more.
So when you find peace within yourself, you stay with it for a while. Don't go on to the next thing yet, because we've been in chaos for so long. It's like taking a rest within peace, within that feeling of peace, so you can rest for a while. And that's really something we all should do once we get to peace. Take a moment to rest. Don't be on to the next thing yet. Yes?
Yes, I can see that.
Yeah.
This is the resting place. This is the place of stillness. This is the place we keep on going back to, no matter which path we're on. Yeah, the place of reflection, of resting, of healing. And we have spent a lot of time on that karmic path. We've spent a lot of time in that place here, healing, resting. We know what that's like. We had to learn that. It's the
Mm-hmm.
part of receiving, right? Now we need to look at how can we get out of this place. This is peaceful, yeah? It's peaceful. It's a sacred neutral. Sacred neutral not necessarily always creates. Because what? Creation, we are co-creators. We are a fractal of the prime creator. The whole point of being here is to create. Now, what does create mean? Creation is the gap between the desire and the fulfillment, right? The fulfillment of the desire. So just hanging out in peace doesn't necessarily create. We have to get back into what am I? So let's say we are in peace now. I'm peaceful. I'm happy. I'm fulfilled. Now what? Just like you said, I'm peaceful. Now what? What's my next desire? What, depending on the next level of awareness, right? What's my next desire that I can fulfill by me creating? Now, whatever that is. So we can almost say we have to go beyond peace now. Once we know what peace feels like, and I think we've all had snippets of it, right? Now we can chunk it back down again and say, okay, peace is always available. It's always there. Now let me keep walking, whichever way you want to look at. Yeah. Let me keep walking. Let me get uncomfortable again. Let me get out of that peacefulness. Not necessarily. Maybe you can go to the edge of unawareness, to the edge of unknowingness and still be peaceful. Yeah. If you can do that, great. Then you create the new desire. So what are we desiring? So let's say we've all had the peace. We found the peace. We're done with the majority of the karmic resolution. Let's just pretend, all right? What is it that we desire?
And we are good at pretending, aren't we?
We are.
We've mastered pretending.
So what do we want beyond that now? What do we want to create? It's almost like, as we've said many, many times, in order to connect with source, you need to understand that source disconnection. That's the karmic journey. We've done this now. Now we're back into source connection. We got the peace. We feel good, fulfilled and everything. Now what? What are we going to do with this now? What can we create? Because we are here to create. We are here to remember. It doesn't matter what you think. Is it something, remember, create, put together, take old and make it new, recycle ideas, put your own stamp on it. What do you guys desire?
So when you get to the edge, when you get to the point of peace, and you're asking the question, "What's next?" It's like going to the edge of the universe, sitting there and waiting. Now, let's just say, pretend that the whole universe is living the fifth world of peace, and
No,
then you say, "What's next?"
Dana, let me
Yeah.
stop you right there.
Okay.
I want you to stay here on Earth. Don't go to the universe. This is not.
Okay.
No. Stay here.
Mm-hmm.
What you want to create here? This is very down to earth. We are creating here on Earth, Gaia.
So let's think about
Can
that
you
then. What
clarify
we want to
something
create.
for me? So the relationship between creating and desire. So is desire the precursor to creating? What's that relationship?
Yeah, it's a good question. What do you know, Sarah?
Yeah, I'm trying to tease out the word desire, and is that passive or active, and is that always peaceful or not? To me, there can be some unrest that can lead to really great creation. Creation always a good thing. And I don't know, so those are the concepts I'm just playing around with in my head. So I was just trying to distill if there was a direct relationship between desire and creation, or if is creation the goal? I mean, if there is a goal,
Well, I personally, my if you ask me that, my personal thing is we are here to create. If you want to call it, we're here to remember what that means, then I go for that too. Yeah. But then again, how do we create to remember? How do we get back to that? Now, desire, that's why I would like to make a distinction here. We talked about passionate desire last time. That's more tinted with the suffering. You're motivated through the suffering to get out of the suffering. That's more karmic journey. Today, we're talking being motivated from a place of peace, like Lana says, no more because you want to get away from the suffering, but you're now in peace. And now, like Caro says, now fucking what? Sorry, I added the F word to just give it a bit of emphasis. Now what? Because that's so not easy. I don't think it's so much easier for me, as I said earlier on. For me, it's not easier to say, so what do creating from peace versus creating from suffering is much easier for me to create from. But that's very dangerous thing to say, because what does that mean? We go back into suffering. We seek out the energy of it because we are familiar with that. That's the habitual patterns, and we can no longer do that. It's much easier to react in order to act. Now, it doesn't work for us anymore. If we want to be serious with this fifth world of peace business, right? Universal citizenship. So the only way of looking at it, yes, Sarah, the question is, desire is the basis for creation. Because sacred neutral, think about it, it's being in total allowance, it's a nice place to be. I've been there for some time, but it does not necessarily create. There was a time where things just happened, like do this, yes. And all of a sudden it's like, oh shit, nothing's happening. What's going on? Because that's that peaceful place where, but how peaceful is it really? And how much more can we be of service? So what I'm saying is maybe another look into desire, into creation is, how can we be of service, right? Because at the end of the day, we are here to be of service, to create, to be of service, right? So what do you desire to create as a service for yourself and for others?
I want to offer a very specific example of something I've been wanting to create, and I am creating now. I enjoy teaching language, and in some Romance languages, Spanish being one of them, there is a way that you understand the past tense that is different from English. So the tenses are called preterite and imperfect. So I want to create a story for English speakers where they can really dive into those two tenses in Spanish that is really mind-blowing to them when they first think about the past being more than what they think in their English-speaking minds. So there's a story that I'm creating with using those two tenses.
I love that. So the present tense is perfect tense, and the past tense is imperfect time. I've never imperfect in German. Imperfect. So this is interesting. Well, look at this. How is the past imperfect and the present perfect? That's a beautiful thing you can do. You see, this is a great. Okay, so for what purpose would you have that desire to be fulfilled? For what purpose?
It's a funny story, so laughter will be the main thing. I want students to laugh throughout the story.
So, and why do you want to, for what purpose? Why is never a good question. For what purpose do you want your students to laugh?
The experience of a good belly laugh.
Mm-hmm. What does that do?
To be shared among a Zoom class. It's online classes. I want a collective laugh.
And what is that going to do? For what purpose do you want to connect?
For what purpose? Let me think about that question in a different way so I can move forward. Um, so they can continue writing stories themselves using those two tenses, and we can move on to more complex tenses like the subjunctive. Mm-hmm.
So inspiration, to inspire them to be self-sufficient, to be creative.
Creation,
Yeah.
co-creation,
Yeah.
stories among ourselves, and a story of where all of us can be writing the same story.
And then, the other thing is the purpose. It's just nice to put a word to it, because as soon as you got a word, it's like, oh, the energy kicks in, right? And then the desire just becomes almost fulfilled already. And that's when you then create that frequency and that spark that brings the ideas to you. Yeah, this is what this is all about. I don't want to be a pain in the ass here by asking the same question over and over again, but this is what these questions are. For what purpose? For what purpose? For what purpose? Oh, wow, yes. Now, inspiration. And then what else? For what purpose? Well, you're talking about revolutionizing the education system. Now it gets interesting. You are unmuted.
Yes, much needed. Yes.
So now I just got excited again. Let me just say this. Now we've got, now you're putting something in a context where you can get other people to understand the energies. If you just say belly laughter, say, okay, that's nice. Now, we're revolutionizing the education system. Now you're going to start attracting all these people that know the education system is crap to you. You can start creating with them, right?
It's really interesting when it has this exchange. When you asked the question, I had to re-ask. I understood the energy of your question, and then I had to ask the question in a different way to myself to move forward. Language is, in a way, language is very limited too.
Oh, in a way, it is.
It is.
It is. And you see also the other thing, what just comes to mind here, guys, is on the dharmic path, we are translating the universal energies into this energy, into this space-time reality. We have to give it a name that is beyond just the big names, because people have no idea what. Look, you guys are amazing. This is this is a fraction of the population without judgment. Yeah, we need to put things into words they can understand, to really get them, to draw them into that creation that we want to create. Fantastic. Now, if I ask you the other question now, what is that an example of? You creating a new reality for education. What is that an example of?
What is that an example of? I want to think that this is an example of creating the fifth world of peace.
Exactly. Yes. Now we can go out there, and if we throw out to someone on the street, let's create the fifth world of peace, like, what the fuck is she talking about, right? And look, this is experience talking, because I'm very good in throwing these words out that I've learned through all these amazing teachers that I've had. People don't get it, and you can't blame them for it, because you need to speak their language. And in order to do that, we need to really get into what is it that we're actually saying, what is it that we're actually wanting to achieve, what is our desire, and then put it in the words. And with some people in this group, of course, you talk about the fifth world of peace, that's fine. So you got the energy, but you also got the words for the people that you want to draw in, the people you want to service.
Can I tell you something? There's a saying that goes, don't be so high-minded that you're no earthly good. So what you're saying, Martina, is that we have to have some earthly good in the way it's being explained. We can't be so high up there that no one here understands. So the language has got to be clear.
Yes. We have to ground our wisdom. We have to ground
Mhm.
our knowingness. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And keep it simple.
keep it simple.
Keep it simple so
And
that we are earthly good.
and Lana, as well, as you thankfully throw that in with the grounding, that doesn't mean that you limit yourself. Okay, you're not going into a smaller box here. You staying with the big
Absolutely
picture.
not. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very much like, think about universal citizenship, universal citizens. When we go out to these other worlds, we still have to be who we are, but we have to find a way to communicate with these people, with these beings out there. So if we practice this now on that level, then we can do it on the other level too, because not everything will be through technology. We will have to crystallize, decrystallize. We will have to be able to, just change and transform and transmute without a judgment, without a point of view, without making ourselves less for who we are. So the more clarity we can gain about who we are and what we really desire, the better it is. Sarah, with regards to your new business, what do you desire? Let's use you as an example, if you're okay with that, because you're just starting your business now. So what do you desire with your business?
I'm still in the really early stages of transitioning from the trauma, drama, save the world mentality to really, it's all about me, the self-love, self-healing, self-knowing. And so I think I'm still there, even as I offer services to others. I'm creating a service. I think it's still really me, so I think what am I wanting to create? More self-love and self-nurturance and self-acceptance, and awareness and self-awareness. Really, I think I'm still there.
Absolutely. And you have to, otherwise you couldn't do this business. Forget about it. If you're no longer there, you will not want to be the healer that you can be. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's that layer. Yeah. You have to have that neediness, and you have to be proud of it, because what don't call it neediness. That this is not a neediness, but you know what you're doing. You know that this is now for you to share with others, to contribute to others what took you so long, hard work and everything, to do for yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's an amazing desire to have. Mm-hmm. Until you get to a place where you have enough, because you don't need to prove it anymore to others. You don't, then something else. You become, the Wizard of Oz, and you start, doing your in the theater or something, That's absolutely fun. But have clarity on that. This is what you're doing. You're sharing your passion, your desire, not from a place of suffering anymore, but from a place of recognition and acknowledgement that you have suffered and you got all these experiences and tools now. Would be such a waste of time and everything not to share it. That's the service.
Yes. And I think the learning point for me, especially, y'all have really highlighted it really well, is to keep the playfulness and the joy and the spark and the magic in there, that I can get so work. And now it's my mission, and now it's like to keep it light. Because if there's not joy, then what's the point? Then you can't really communicate that love that I want to, if it's heavy and dense and churny and like a mission. And so I think my learning point, my challenge now is, okay, how do I take this and keep it fun and playful and light, while processing some really, some trauma, mine and others.
Yeah. Well, it's the best way of looking at it. That's why you're making it into a business. All right. And as soon as you're looking at it from a business perspective, you can have that detachment. Yeah. So when your website is up, now it has its own consciousness already. This is now, it's no longer just about you. You've got an entity now with its own consciousness. Now you can make a deal with it. If you have a business name or not, and say, okay, so what do you desire? How many clients do you want? Have you got a name for your business, or is it your name?
Yeah, it's Sarah Marie Integrative Healing.
Okay, so that's the name, that's the new entity. So what does your business require? So that question that we're asking ourselves is, now you ask the business. It's the best thing, even for pricing. Yeah, what does the session require to be paid? Yeah. Now you keep the playfulness, you maintain all of that. It doesn't come from a place of need. Oh, I just do it for nothing because, you know, that's neediness. But no, hang on a second. This is what I've learned. I got all these tools. I'm fucking good doing it. So let's do it. Let's make a business, right? Okay, integrated healing. What do you want? What can we create together? Yeah, fantastic. You see, there's the playfulness. There's no neediness in any of that. Fantastic.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any questions? This was a nice example, a chunk down example, yeah? With anything that we be and do. It's like, you know, I'm in quarantine for 10 days now with Emma having the you know, having tested positive. So, you know, for me, it's like, okay, so what do I desire over the next 10 days? What would I like to do with this time where I'm sort of incarcerated here, which, you know, I'm supposed to be in a spa, right? Okay, cool. That didn't happen. Fine. What else can I do? I'm thinking, okay, great. We do the show, you know, nice. I was looking forward to that. Thinking, okay, what can we talk about? You know, that's the flexibility. What else can we create? What else do I desire to be doing? I'm reading a lot of books now to get some new words and ideas for the other book I'm working on, you know, asking myself questions. What is it that I desire? Because my desires have changed now. They're changing continuously, but now I'm at this place where it's like, what is out there that still gets me going, you know? What do you desire? Make the spa at home. It's so hot outside anyway. You're dripping, like you're continuously in a sauna, you know? Oh, but you got something.
Absolutely. I'm a bit in and out tonight, guys, but because I'm working in the shop. So, and it's a sauna here in Spain. But I love hearing all of what you're saying. And it's, for me, it's how to hear what you're saying, hear what I'm learning, and then bring it in, boots on the ground, into here, into all the pieces that make and the people that come in. And more as I listen to you all and the shows that you do, Martina, I'm realizing I've been very kind of restrictive with my energy in a way. And now it's like, I just want to chuck that script out. And everybody who comes in, you're welcome. These are the pieces we produce. I'm starting to give them empowerment as well, the pieces for protection. And it's somehow, everything is getting lifted up. You know, it's like I feel like there's a bubbling up within me. And so hearing all of your snippets, I have to say, because someone came in, but it's like, okay, I can do this too. You know, it's alive. It's not, no, now it's time for Martina. I have to sit and be in there. There is that as well. There's no denying. But it's also, this is all one life now. And how to bring all that life in at the same time. And the choices are within it, but it's like, hey ho, you know, let's get multidimensional within this. And I find that amazing. Thank you, guys. It's like, when I started listening to Martina, I think I was probably more like a walking zombie, if you want. And now it's like between you and Andrew, and somehow for me, this group is being able to express yourself and expand that expression and push those limitations of vocabulary or words further out and have a place to be able to use them.
Fantastic.
So salute you all, and yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, beautiful.
I love it. And also you use the word expressing yourself. That is creation, right? From here, using your voice, having your voice heard, you know, and that for what purpose? Well, yes, for what purpose? To bring the people together, to bring them on board, you know, to be that beacon of empowerment for others, you know. Fantastic.
And many mornings I come in here and I just say, okay, all of you, I'm talking to the jury, what are we going to do today?
Fabulous. Who wants to be sold today, right?
Going off to their permanent family. Okay, who is it? And it's, and I don't know, I feel them going, yeah.
Fantastic. Is now the time for you to get out of here. You've been, you know, using up my space for how long? And you know what? And then the important thing is, in addition to that, acknowledging when they actually do leave. Because we are such amazing creators. We're having these conversations with them, right? And then once we totally forget that we created that. We co-created that with them.
That's true.
Really acknowledging that.
And for that reason, I have my victory book as well, my victory journal.
Fantastic.
Put things like that in it. And
So
go,
that,
hey.
fantastic. So I think we all need a desire book too. I'm going to start a desire book. Write it down. I'm going to have a desire book now. Desire book. And then a victory book. Yeah, victory book. Yeah, important. I'm not so good with victory books, but yes. The white shirt thing too. What does that mean? You notice that? What?
Yeah.
We're all wearing white.
Ah, yes. Check it. Yeah, synchronized, hey? Interesting. And even when I put it on, I thought, why am I wearing white? That's not my color. Interesting. You made me. That's so funny. I was aware of that. I'm naked. Well, okay. Yes. Fantastic. Good. Okay. So
I want to say
please.
that I'm wearing a purple shirt, but the question now was brought up about the white. I have been feeling lately of wearing white myself, and I don't know why, because I've never really wore white because of the fact that it gets dirty very quickly. But of lately, I've been wanting to wear white. I've been having that desire to wear white.
Well,
So
blank,
that's something, isn't it?
blank canvas
Yeah.
to draw our new creations on, to create with. Here we go. Fantastic.
So that's a desire within me as well. So that comes back to our question: what do you desire? So it seems to me like all of us are desiring to wear white, except Patras, of course. She wants to be naked. So.
Well, there's, you know, it's the same thing, right? She can draw on her skin. Absolutely. Yeah. Goes for, yeah, absolutely. So this is interesting. Now, there's obviously, you know, one of those questions when you get to a place where, oh, I don't really know what I want to, you know, think of. There's a couple of questions. For instance, let's say you have an accident, just as a, you know, exercise here, and you are in a coma and you wake up from the coma and you have no recollection about anything. Yeah, who you are, you don't know, but you're perfectly fine, you're perfectly healthy, you're perfectly entitled, so you got money and everything. Yeah, so you must have been a rich bitch, a rich man before. Yeah, and you just walk out, you can't remember anything, what would you do? Don't have to say right now, but that's a good one to think about. Tom.
The first thing comes to mind is I probably want to do something artistic.
What?
Something artistic.
Mm-hmm.
But the whole thing, this dharmic path, the connotation I have with it is there's something quite childlike about it. It reminds me of being that childlike quality where anything is possible.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of without limitation.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that. And just the kind of feeling of aliveness and possibility that it brings.
Mm-hmm. Have you got anything in particular when you say artistic? What comes to mind right now?
Yeah.
Is there, hold on a second. I think there was a smile. Oh my God. I just want note that down. Tom smile.
This is one of the most difficult things to ask me. Now, I don't know what's going on. I really don't know what's going on. So perhaps I need to recover some of this childlike and without limitation sensibility. Yeah.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave it at that. I won't. But that's a good question to ask. Fantastic. Just what do I desire with being artistic? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How can I be artistic and for what purpose?
Mm-hmm.
What is that an example of? And just play with those questions. Take you into the energy. And then, don't limit yourself with those energies. Just whatever comes up. You might even want to just record it. Just talk to yourself and just record it and just let it flow, let it all come out. And then listen to it again. Oh, is that what I said? Oh, why would I say that? I don't really want to do this. And then, oh, maybe I do. And then you can pretty much be guaranteed. It's not going to take long. Something's going to pop in. Facebook, paper, TV, whatever. Friend says something, And then it gets interesting. We say, oh, I just open up this energy now. And now the universe is working with me.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're not sure yourself, you get it a couple. Okay, let me write this down in my desire book. Right. Just write it down. Nothing to do with it. Just note it down. A little bit like, those songs all these songwriters say, if it comes in, you got to write it down. Otherwise, somebody else catches it and makes like the money with it.
Tom, what did you like to do when you were a child?
Me, when I was a child?
When Tom was a child, when he said child,
yeah.
His whole, I'm just curious, what did you do for fun as a child?
This will amaze you, but I love building dams. I built dams. I loved it.
Dam, like a beaver.
Yeah, I like damming up water.
Wow. Yeah. That is interesting. Hold on a second. Let me just read something for you there. So the beaver, what's your Native American zodiac sign? I'm just saying that now. I don't know if it is you or not, but the beaver, yeah. Let me just read something for you because my daughter is a beaver, yeah. So I did that the other day.
Yeah, I don't know, because I used to make them out of mud, but then I wasn't really beaver-like in the dams that I made. but go ahead anyway.
So build an empire they will. Most beavers are extremely dedicated to the idea of success, and most will want to succeed by doing things their own way. Career is of great importance, as this is their primary method in proving that they have been successful in life. Members of this sign like having nice surroundings. They will likely indulge in their home or office setup. Splurring on the best of the best is another way of proving their success to themselves and others. Truly, the biggest danger of beavers is becoming too self-focused. In their quest for success and a place in history, those born under this sign face the danger of losing track of what is really important in life and often will sacrifice relationships to chase their goals. We're just going to leave it at that. And that is a Taurian, by the way. Are you a Taurian, by the way? Taurus?
No, I'm not.
Anyway, that was just fun because you said beaver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like doing things my own way.
Yeah. That is artistic, isn't it? That's what an artist is. Doesn't matter what you do it your way.
Mm-hmm.
So when can we see some of your art?
I could show you. I'm just thinking if it comes up. It's not ideal time.
Not ideal time. Okay.
Yeah.
Next time.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Good. What do you desire? And what you, yeah.
I think for me there is a desire to be more energized and more engaged and more spontaneous, more aliveness.
Now, would any of you other people say that if Tom would be more energized, more engaging, would that be a contribution to all of us in the world? For what purpose? Yes, Mister, we need you to be energized and more engaging because you are amazing. For what purpose? To entertain, to inspire, to ignite, to empower, to share your gifts. For what purpose? Get these people out of hiding, not allowing themselves to express. For what purpose? Help me out, guys. For what purpose? To get the people who reject themselves no longer reject themselves. Start acknowledging their amazingness. For what purpose?
To get to know you, Tom. To know you better.
And what is that an example of?
Knowing, Tom, what is that an example of? That is showing up, allowing yourself to be seen, allowing yourself to be heard, vulnerability.
Contribution.
Community, connection, unity. Tom, I get this like Merlin alchemy. Yeah, I just feel like when you show up as you, there's just this, there is a spark and a magic, you know, I feel it.
There's a joy as well. I perceive a tremendous joy when you say something. I'm not entirely sure what it is, but there's a joy energy.
Tom has a peacefulness about him that is very welcoming, Tom. So I want you to know that. And when you're here, it's you bring that peace with you that we've been talking about earlier. So thank you for being here with us. I know you're outnumbered, but that's okay.
Mm. Well, thank you.
You're welcome, Tom. Good. I think we, on that note, I love that energy. We're just going to leave it at that, unless anyone has a pressing question. I really enjoy. Yeah.
I have a poem that I wrote, and I was wondering if we have room
Yes.
to share it. Yes.
Please.
Okay, just give me a second. So I call the name of this poem Sailing the River of Light. There is nothing about body, my body, which cannot be which can be stopped, for I am consciousness is objectified. The only flowing there is the perpetual flow of love. The frequency of love is like the river of light. It just keeps on going, and there is no stoppage of harmonious action. Sail the river of light. Ride the wave of harmony. The mist that is the present calm, providing droplets of joy, each reflecting the colors of the rainbow, where fair as belief only cannot, could not, and shall not exist. For divine love got there first, filling all time and space, infinitely, eternally, multidimensionally, universally. There is one action, one activity, love, unfold perpetually, objectifying itself as all. Thus there is zero empty space, peace, happiness, laughter, joy, and love got there first. And that is enough.
Thank you. Beautiful, Lana. Thank you.
That was beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. Oh.
You're welcome.
Share it in our, if you want, you can share it on the hub once I put the recording on, if you like to.
Okay, I'll have to send it to you. I'll have to rewrite it.
Okay.
And send it over to you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Lana. Thanks very much, guys.
Thank you.
For coming on. Get your desire journals going. I will definitely get mine going. And we'll see you next week. Take care. All the best.
Sure. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Much love to all. Bye.